Hello and welcome to another episode of Roll Call, TTSH Nursing's very own podcast brought to you by the Centre for Asian Nursing Studies, or CANS for short. I'm Kim and I will be your host for this episode as always. So Tan Tock Seng Hospital's Integrated Care Hub, also known as ICH, opened last year and offers a comprehensive suite of rehabilitative, subacute and palliative care. At ICH, there's a special group of volunteers under our para-nursing volunteer program who work very closely with our nurses to provide care for patients during their free time. So through the para-nursing volunteer program, these individuals are equipped with caregiving skills through on-the-job training with their nursing buddies. So join me in welcoming Sister Padma, Senior Nurse Manager and Para-Nursing Volunteer Lead, as well as Pui Lok, a Year 3 Polytechnic student, one of our Para-Nursing volunteers, to Roll Call! Hello! Could you both please introduce yourselves and share more about your backgrounds as well? Maybe Sister start first?
Okay, I'm Sister Padma. I joined nursing in 1975. This year is my 50 years in nursing. So my journey is, I went to all the disciplines in this hospital, including ICU and then a rehab center in Ang Mo Kio. After that, I became an ADN and also the key person for NCID building and COVID management. After that, I requested to step down and I managed CDC 2. After that, the building closed down and I went to ICH and this program. That's me.
Pui Lok?
Alright, for myself, hi, my name is Pui Lok. I'm from MP Year 3 nursing student from Ngee Poly. So currently I'm waiting for graduation right now. So now for myself, to keep myself busy, I'll do volunteering in Tan Tock Seng ICH specifically, as well as also trying to upgrade my healthcare skills as well.
Okay, so the next question that I have is for Sister Padma. Being one of the program's leads, could you share with us what inspired the creation of this para-nursing program and what was that process like for you?
Okay, so I think in nursing, during COVID, there was some volunteer program that was happening. After that, when ICH was open, senior management and our CN asked me to lead this program. And of course, I really don't know what this program is about. And so I engaged CHA, Center for Health Activation. So I partner with them to see how we can go about. And I went to look at other volunteer programs that are happening in Tan Tock Seng and then brainstorm with a few members to see how we can actually do this program. That's how this program started.
I see.
And the main thing about this program is to recruit the volunteers, do the training, give them the confidence so that they can buddy together with our nurses to take care of the patients and give the care that they can provide. Yes.
So this program, when it started out, the pool of volunteers, the numbers was a little bit smaller, but I've heard that it's recently expanded, right?
Yes,
How many volunteers do we
so
have?
So when Cha gave me, the number was only 14. And when I did the orientation program on the first day in 2023, December, the pool was very small. But I was just trying to think, how can I grow this? So what I did is, I asked the volunteers to bring in more volunteers, their friends or their neighbors. You know, this is how I started. But they were so excited. So what they did is, every time they message me the name and phone number, so I will call. I will call and I'll ask them about their interests, and that's how the numbers grew. Slowly, I also write in. I was thinking, just this number not enough. Is those retirees, housewives, and some of them are domestic helpers, and surprisingly, domestic helpers, yes. And I was talking to one of my lecturer friend. I was thinking, why don't you write to Poly? Our students are there. Then I happened to write to the Polytechnic, happened to be my nurse who was in 9D. She is the person in charge there. And she was so overjoyed, and she gave me the name of a person who can bring me the students. And that's how the student nurses came into me. Then after slowly I wrote to other polytechnics, and I have biomedical students, I got pharmacy students, engineering students. That's how it came. And now the number is about 300.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and I have 200 more waiting, but yeah, but I was thinking, oh no, I have to sustain with
Yeah.
this 300.
Yeah.
I have to grow and mold
Yeah.
these people, and I see how I can take in the rest later. We have to sustain this and do some work with these
Yeah.
people that we have.
Yeah,
Yes.
understand. Then for Pui Lok, how did you find out about the program and what drew you to join as a volunteer?
So for myself is that actually, you know, the person that she mentioned that got the email blasting
Yep.
was actually my lecturer. Yeah, so she actually email blasted, and then she actually recommended us that to join this program because at that time I was currently a year 1 student. I didn't have much clinical experience. So what happened is that I thought that, wow, why not just try to join this program, learn something new about nursing and get clinical knowledge as well. So that's when I joined into this program, and then I think what it stood out for me was that a lot of volunteering experiences don't really allow you to volunteer in hospitals. But only Tan Tock Seng was at that moment the first hospital to let me volunteer in a real clinical setting.
I see.
That's why I joined this program.
I see. Okay. Then I guess my next question, both of you all can answer. So once I decide to join as a volunteer, then do I undergo any training to help me to prepare as a volunteer?
Okay, so since he's the volunteer, I let him say, then I continue with him.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So actually, the volunteering experience to join in is actually quite fruitful. So first of all, you get to understand the general cases of the patients there. So for example, if you go to this specific ward, it's orthopedic. So for orthopedic, it's like bone, like fractures, etc.
Yeah.
So these are the cases that you'll be exposed to. Afterwards, you'll be given a booklet to basically let you learn all those basic skills. For example, how to wash your hands. You know, like outside of healthcare, you already know how to wash your hands, like, you know, try to expose. But
7 steps.
in healthcare, there's seven moments of hand hygiene, and also ensures that you clean out every specific part of the hands.
Yep.
So I think it's very important. And then we are getting exposed to different skills as well. So in nursing, we call it as ADLs,
Yep.
call it as activities of daily living. So for volunteers as ourselves, we mainly help patients with their ADLs.
Yep.
For example, transporting or also moving, and also moving to places. And we're also able to talk to patients as well. So these are the things that we are able to expose to. So really to try to build the communication skills through this voluntary experience.
So when the volunteers first, after the interview, I'll set a date.
Yeah.
So the volunteers will come in on a certain date, and then we will start. Usually the first day is about 2.5 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's very intensive where we have to set rules,
Yeah.
the do's and don'ts. Of course, welcoming them with an open heart for their volunteer hours. The next following week, when they are coming, they go direct to the ward. We identify the ward, and each time they come and volunteer, they will go to the same ward.
Okay.
And when they go to the same ward, they are buddy.
Okay.
They never do anything alone. They will be assigned to either a EN or RN or HCA. And but the wards are very, very happy. Why happy is because when there are 2 nurses doing a changing
Yep.
of patient, now there's 1 nurse and 1 volunteer.
Yep.
Another nurse with another volunteer. You know, the volunteers, we ask permission from the patient and the doctor if the volunteer can observe.
Yep.
So some of the procedures they do observe lah.
Yep.
So I think these are some things. It is so value add to the community because whatever care that they are learning the skills here, and with the elderly generation that we have, I think this is so useful because this can be continued out in the community, be it in their family, be it in their friends, you know, or outside, anywhere, as I say.
Of course.
In addition to that, Sister Padma actually added an excellent point of view. So I'd like to build forward to that. So actually, I actually brought a few friends from like engineering side. You know, they're not even healthcare related.
Yes.
So the thing is that they actually believe that the volunteering para-orientation program is very user-friendly in a sense whereby it's very novice level. Then take it for example, for students, it's also very novice level. And for my dad himself,
Yes.
he came from engineering background. So he came to join this program and he felt that this program really seems him very well into learning healthcare in general. So yeah.
Yeah, so he and the father is in the program.
So
That is the best part, you know.
Do you guys volunteer at the same time together or
Oh no,
you know,
different schedule. Yeah.
Different child.
Okay.
Father also very regular volunteer.
that's so
And he's
lovely.
also Namaste trained.
Oh wow.
Yes, so
what is
because-
Namaste? You wanna share?
Okay, so Namaste is something like we have those group of patients who, you know, they are either demented or they are bedridden and they're just lying down, you know. So this soft skill is something that is so, you know, the touch.
Yeah.
So using some oil or some cream, this touch and just doing this, what happens is a bonding happens and the smooth feeling where the patient gets cool and calm,
Yeah.
you know, as they do, they talk. And we're also doing a group. So all the patients are sitting together in the
Friends.
activity area, and this Namaste program happen. Even at the bedside, it happen. So the patients really feel very, very touched, very, very touched, because some of them no family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then sometimes the visitor may come only one day or the next day, you know. So when these volunteers are doing this, the volunteers themselves feel that, hey, I'm doing a great job, man.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So especially his father, he's so excited. I can tell you. That's why I feel happy. I was just thinking, don't know when the mother is going to come.
Soon, Molly.
Yes.
So I think Sister Padma gave us quite a good glimpse and overview about what it's like to be a volunteer. But Pui Lok, can I ask, how has your experience been so far?
Oh, my experience has been, I think it really transformed how I view clinical experience. Because when I joined year one, I don't know what to expect. And then I believe every year one students from nursing, when they join this like clinical experience, it's really very stressful for them. Because they don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And it's in a community hospital setting. And it's perfect for ICH because it's a rehabilitative facility.
Yeah.
So when I get exposed to such experience earlier, it actually prepares me very well for my clinical experience. So I think I did relatively well in my clinical experiences. And from there moving out to year 2 and year 3, it actually built more confidence in clinical practices. So I believe that even that you're not in the healthcare or you're even in the healthcare, it actually builds you confidence in some sense. And most importantly, I think communication skills is very important in this day and age.
Well, I feel so happy that this program has given you a plus point in his career.
Yeah.
It's really, really great.
I think even when I was a student, right, people always tell you that it can never prepare you for what it's like when you're really out in clinicals, you know. So I mean, I wish TTSH had this program even earlier when I was a student, you know, to really give me a glimpse rather than like have kind of like culture shock, you know, when you first come in and all that. Yeah, so it seems like it's a really, really good and meaningful program. And I think that perfectly goes into the next question, which I will direct to Sister Padma, which is, how has the past year of managing this program, how has it been like?
I would say a little bit challenging because there are so many volunteers and sometimes the volunteers are so busy with their own work.
Yeah.
So to answer the WhatsApp message that I send out, sometimes get delayed. Then what happened? Hey, what happened to my volunteers? You know, so I will text, hey, volunteers, are you all coming? You know, that kind of text. After that, you can see all the ding, 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 all the volunteers, they will put in their availability.
Yeah.
But because the most, I would say 70% are domestic helpers. Yes, that's the most, I cannot believe. You know, but it is 70%. So these volunteers, I can say that they do have some basic training in caregiver care academy. So they are also BCLS trained. Then when I look at it, oh my God, this is really a plus point for me. So I engage the volunteers. Volunteer guide the other volunteer, the most senior to guide. But on the other part is our admin part, where we have to prepare the forms, then we have to update their whatever, you know, the matters, the administrative part, then is the assignment. But it's okay because the most important thing I feel is when the volunteers able to make it to come. That is the most important thing. And I think my patients are enjoying, some of them are calling by names at the volunteers. And as I passed by, I was shocked. I said, wow, that means the interaction between the volunteer and the patient is really good. You know, even the nurses calling, hey Rose, have you taken your break? You know, have you go and drink? You know, even they offer whatever food they have, they do offer to the volunteers, which become like a family. That is the important part. And then when at the end, when they are going back, when they give me this feedback, it made me feel so happy.
Definitely.
I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, of course, Yeah, of course. And I think it's perfect, right? Because especially a place like ICH, where I believe the turnover of the patients is not very fast. Your patients stay there for a slightly longer period of time. To have that kind of space to build that bond, it's one of the most perfect places to really forge that kind of bond and rapport with one another. And I guess that's why it explains that, like, you know, their relationship is so good. They can call each other by name because you see them through their care journey and their health journey while they are at ICH.
Yes.
Right.
And another plus point I would like to share is what, you know, this transfer technique. Okay, so when the patients are going home, we do teach the caregivers. But when they go home, they may not remember. So when this volunteer came to learn on the transfer technique, where to hold, and also how to hold the patient and the leg position and how you sit the patient out, she went back to teach the family. That means they went back to the employer's house, teach the employer and the family member. The employer gave this feedback to pass the message to me is real big thank you. Because they did have backache and shoulder pain, and they were saying that maybe they were doing it wrong all the way until this volunteer came and learned and went to back teach, which I almost want to cry, because I feel that this is so value add work, you know, this voluntary program.
The work goes even beyond the hospital already and back to the community.
And aftercare is also happening. That's another thing. You see.
Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing. For Pui Lok, how has volunteering in the hospital changed your perspective of healthcare or nursing? Can be good or bad, but hopefully good.
I think volunteering in this specific program actually changes me to actually have a more patient-centric kind of care per se. What I meant by that is that I felt that in acute hospital, like my normal clinical attachment, it's all about like completing skills, doing like the daily work and everything. But I felt that when I stepped into this volunteering program, right, it's actually really trying to be more conversational with the patient. Like for example, like talking to the patient, like how are you? Because really we are so busy, we are always having time to write our report, our medications and everything. But have we really tried to step back and really try to talk to the patients like in, you know, in a more harmonizing way, I guess. Trying to know them better. So I felt that when I go into this specific ICH program, it really trained me to be very communicative. And that's when I displayed during my PRCP, which is like my final internship in year 3. My preceptor was incredibly proud of that area because it was something whereby he felt that it's very lacking in healthcare. So
awesome.
I think ICH really prepared me well for that.
That's so good to hear, right? Okay, Sister Patma. Wow, I think his answer just answered your question, you know. What do you think makes this program successful?
So as you may
exactly like what
see, like I wish most of the student nurses can come to us. You know why? When I was a student nurse, of course, I also didn't know. It was just nothing for me, right? Suddenly you are seeing a big sea or big jungle or you know, whatever comes to your eyes. But now with this exposure, it really opens the eyes of the students to learn more hands-on. Hands-on. And what will become? When they pass out and join the organization, they have some skills. You see, so they will be more confident. Yeah, and they will be aware of the healthcare industry. So I do have secondary students who come here and do colouring. So I had the SJI international students.
Yep.
So they come 1.5 hours. They do colouring with patients. And actually some old patients, they don't want. They say, oh, this one small kid do. I don't want to do, But I talk to them. I say, I do colouring with my grandchildren. And the exciting colours and exciting pictures, we talk about the colours, how to pair the colours and all that. So I do that with my grandchildren. When I told this to the patient was saying, huh? With your grandchildren, you do colouring? I say, yeah. And it is really exciting. You try, you will know. Then you say, okay, I try. Wow, you must see the patient really, really did very well. Then I told the patient, it improves your hand skill, the motor skills, and your power, and your thinking. You're thinking of, this one what color will be better? How can I do? All these are things that improves your journey in the hospital. Yeah, patient really, he draw already, he's so proud, he show it to me. I'm going to show my children, he said that. Wow, I felt happy lah. I think we all trying our best for our patient to give the best.
Of course, of course. So with all of that in mind, right, what is your vision for the future of para-nursing programs, be it in TTSH or in other institutions?
So now, I would say that our para-nursing not within ICH, we have already last year sent about 11 of them to subacute at Rinse. And now I have a discussion to see how we can send volunteers to our acute hospital at Tan Tock Seng. But I need to discuss and plan on the program. Why? Because acute hospital is a fast moving. So we need to select some of the program and upskill. And then even the present volunteers, what we are doing is we are giving refresh. We are planning for refresher so that they also can do better. And I'm planning also to do the train the trainer. And we do have other programs that we have planned, like Namaste is one I just mentioned. And there are some in the pipeline in a discussion now. And there are other hospitals who actually came to us to learn about our para-nursing, to see how it can happen in their hospital. So Dover Park, we went to Dover Park to learn from them. And then Yishun Community Hospital came to us. So I think there's some more people coming to learn. So I think this program should not end in just Tan Tock Seng.
Of course.
It should go to all the other hospitals where our health industry can do a bit more to the community by doing this volunteer program. It will benefit a lot. Definitely.
And for Pui Lok, I have one last question, which is, what advice would you give to someone considering joining this program?
I think for people who joining this program, I'm viewing in these two perspectives. So one is in a healthcare perspective, and one is another in a non-healthcare perspective. So let me start off by the healthcare perspective, is that I feel it's really very good to build your interpersonal communication skills in this program itself. Because I don't think there's a lot of areas for you to really train your clinical conversation per se, and also for like interdisciplinary talking also. Because sometimes you're able to meet physiotherapists, occupational therapists. So basically you might be able to communicate with them as well. So I thought it's a very good field for you to kind of like step in, when you're not in your clinicals, you could come and volunteer. Then for the non-healthcare perspective, I think it's important to really join this program to understand, because I think as Singapore goes to like the aging population, right, then it's a dying need to really understand more about elderlies. Like how do they view the Singapore, like how do they do things? Because in Singapore, social isolation rate is really very high. It's going higher and higher. So I felt it's important for volunteers to actually know like what is up with like the elderlies and how they can support them better. So one thing is that like our parents don't really grow like younger, they grow older, sadly. The thing is that we really need to learn some nursing skills. So now some nursing skills which are very applicable is like knowing like what kind of food you can actually feed them, and then like what is healthy for them, how to make sure that they live a better quality of life.
Yeah.
So I think through this program, we are able to learn this kind of bits and pieces of here, which is very important in like the Singapore context for now.
Of course. I think healthcare and health is something that is inevitable.
Yes.
At any stage of your life, you will have to either be sadly a part of it, or like have someone who is in the system who you need to take care of and kind of understand what's going on. So like what you said, I think joining these kind of programs is a perfect way to bridge that gap and to learn, and figure out and see for yourself also like what to expect in a way, and what's going on in our healthcare system. Thank you guys so much for coming on Roll Call and for sharing as well. It was very, very insightful, very insightful sharing, and I think it really helped me to see what goes on behind the scenes, because I think on Instagram and all that I always see Tan Tock Seng like to post a lot about ICH. I always see videos of like doing all the activities and all that. So now understanding what the heart behind it and what goes on, it's just it was very nice. And so thank you guys so much for joining me today. And sadly with that, we have come to the end of this episode of Roll Call. But before we end, I would like to just give a shout out. If you really want to find out more about the heart and art of humanistic care, do join us for a CANS, Center for Asian Nursing Studies event called Human XP Day, Interwoven Stories of Humanistic Care, that is happening on the 30th of May. There's going to be a movie screening, panel discussion, and also fun activities for you to participate in. So more details on the event and how to register will be available in the description below. And that concludes this episode of Roll Call. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can also check out the podcast on Spotify and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Nurses of TTSH. We'll see you in the next Roll Call. Bye-bye!